The dawn, what's that flower you have on? Could it be a faded rose from days gone by? And didn't I hear you say you were leaving us here today? Up to that mansion in the sky. Is that what?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Going to a mansion's pretty close. Yeah. She's 41 and the people still call her baby. Something like that. I don't know.
You guys sound like you're from Brother World.
That's how you do it. I met a man named Ramblin' Bob. He used to steal, gamble, and rob. Thought he was the smartest guy around. Yeah, he's in the jailhouse now. Jesus Christ, what is that on my head? Key of G. Take the bass for a walk. Are we rolling?
Yes, we've been rolling since the song.
Oh, thank goodness. At least we weren't rolling at the carcinogenic pussy thing. That would have been...
No, I just put my headphones on and that's what I heard, and I was like, I'm gonna let this pass. This too shall pass.
If you don't know the context, it really just doesn't help anything. We're good there. I think I'm gonna turn my volume up a little bit. Is that better?
For who?
For myself.
Yeah.
You know, I was born and raised. I like to think I'm ahead of the curve.
Because I was born and raised.
Yeah. Court, are your headphones okay?
Oh yeah.
Can I
needed
turn up
a little adjustment, but they're chill now.
Where's my snare?
There's no snare.
Where's my snare?
No, there's no snare at all.
I'm not getting any snare in my headphones.
Like a snare drum?
Yeah, that's just.
That would be the one.
Yeah. Where's my snare?
Camera 1 is rolling.
Where? Which one's that one?
It's this one.
Are we both in that one?
Yeah.
And then who is it that we're interviewing?
So we're going to see my friend Gary Reinhardt, local comedian.
Gary Reinhardt. Perfect. Do we have to talk about the local clubs like the Funny Bone and
I don't
and
know
the Helium?
exactly. I hope he doesn't do anything too crazy.
Has he done any open mics recently? What was that one on
He's
Del Mar?
got some gigs coming up.
What was that one on Del Mar that used to do really bad open mics? Was it the Social House 2 or something like that? Was that what it was called? There you go. You gotta get right in there.
Yeah. Good.
It's pretty tight already.
Camera 2 is rolling.
Okay. We're in it.
I'm in the hot seat.
And Court, put that mic right up on your face. Like,
Yeah.
pull the whole stand closer if you have to.
Yeah. And you gotta donkey lip it. Get in there. Just kinda
I feel like I'm violating this mic.
No, it looks really
That's the
good.
intention.
Guys, welcome back to Jacob V Weekly. We want to start like we do every week by reminding you to check out Caddyshack of Hamel, Illinois. That's caddyshackil.org. You can also find a link to Caddyshack from my very own website, Jacob V. That's JACOBVI.com. To keep up with everything we're kind of doing. I also just updated some stuff there so that you could find us on all of your smaller platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Reels, YouTube Shorts. We do clips from all of our shows on all of those platforms simultaneously. The only way to support this show financially, patreon.com/JacobV. Shout out to our executive producers, Neil Wolf and Doreen Priestley. Also, shout out to Patreon member James Brubaker, who purchased one of our artifacts from the Patreon. There is an anthology of full res lossless quality masters of a lot of the music I've done thus far in my journey, and you could buy that all available together for $20 on the Patreon directly if you don't want to be a member but you want to support one time financially. That's an example of one of the things you can get there. Baby brother is back. It's his birthday.
Hey.
Happy birthday.
So you say it's your birthday.
Great.
So wait, how old does something have to be an artifact?
Oh, an artifact is just it's like just a thing you can purchase there. I didn't mean a relic of any kind.
You're an artifact to me, Cole.
Thank you, Cord. Thank you. But also an artifact. So are you saying that you have to purchase artifacts?
No, I'm saying that I have for sale an anthology of music I've released in high quality waveform files that you could purchase directly on patreon.com/Jacob V.
So are you saying that Lara Croft Tomb Raider had to buy all the artifacts that she acquired?
I don't think she ever had to pay for those if she raided them.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense because the tomb raiding.
If she acquired them in a raid,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think she would have needed to pay anybody for those. But she had money; she could have done it.
They did. There was money involved.
There was money in that family.
I'm to understand due to the size of the manor
and whatnot. Speaking of relics, though, I do have a song called "Relics" that's coming out soon. Hopefully, before my baby is here in a couple of months, and there's several versions of that have been oozing out onto the Patreon over a long period of time. But we're going to have an official release of some new material with a studio version of that, an acoustic version of that, maybe a remix. I wouldn't put it past myself. Noantics.bandcamp.com/merch. We also have new songs out. Double Down, My Grave is coming out soon, and Busybody is out. Blinded by Stereo. I'm kind of doing a series on the Patreon with Blinded by Stereo live at the Heavy Anchor. I have a few, and I've been using that as a format to pilot kind of my live concert footage process. Well, the first one is already on the Patreon. That was from a few weeks ago. And then we're playing there again on the 30th of November. And then we're playing there a couple of other times. And so I do a 3-cam in 4K, and then I get multi-track audio out of the board, and then I can put all that together back home and make it great.
How many songs do you have? How many songs have you made?
Oh, with Blinded by Stereo, that's its own band.
With who?
Just with everybody.
Oh, Courtney is here. Courtney is helping me check this third position we have for the show today for everything we have planned. And dear sweet gentleman, companion of ours.
He's our cousin.
Yeah, he's like our cousin.
It's like our second cousin or third cousin or something like that.
Well, yeah, that's right, because your great uncle is my stepdad. So
we finally related.
I don't know. I've published a couple of dozen things like that are available everywhere. There's more stuff out there from different phases. Lucius and I did a record that is included in the anthology you could buy on the Patreon.
If you want to go on patreon.com/Jacob V.
Right. Lots of good stuff
of
there. You have a whole journey ahead of you with travel and whatnot. So you may need to see if your mom will sign you up for the Patreon.
It's only $1 a week.
It's $1 a week.
It's $4 a month.
It's $1 a week.
You know, when
it's
you're driving,
$52 a year.
Yeah, you're always looking for more music.
Oh my God. There's exclusive instrumentals on there. There's live stuff. There's stuff that we couldn't put on the mainstream version of the show because of its dangerous or pornographic nature. That's not true.
So much porn.
First story of the day. Indianapolis authorities are investigating the case of a man found dead in a tanning bed at a Planet Fitness location after he was reported missing by his family.
Wasn't he missing for like 3 days before they found him in that tanning bed?
Well, exactly. Police received a report about 8:26 a.m. on Monday that a body was found inside a tanning bed. When police arrived, they located the man who, according to police, had been reported missing by his family the day before, which was Sunday.
So 24 hours.
His family had last heard from him on Friday. Members of his family confirmed he had gone into the tanning bed on Friday and was not found until Monday morning.
He must have been well
Holy
done.
cow.
It doesn't say if it was on the whole time or if he died in there and it shut off, and maybe that's why they didn't check, because it was turned off. It was just closed. They didn't think anybody would be in there with it off and closed.
But it's also like, you can cook bacon in the morning on Friday and still smell it in the afternoon on Saturday.
I'm just glad he died doing something he loved.
Yeah.
You know,
Getting that tan on.
He was trying to stay brown.
Yeah.
Like every health teacher in the country is going to share this story with their teenage students.
Well, sometimes that just happens. Like, what's that kid that went missing because he went to go take a nap behind a refrigerator in a gas station and then he got stuck? You know that one?
Yeah, that was like a few years ago.
It was more than a few years ago.
Yeah, it was like between 5 and 10 years
But you know what I'm talking about, though.
Yes.
And they just found like the mummified remains of a teenager behind a fridge at a gas station.
He was mummified?
I don't know. He was there for so long. You can only imagine. Maybe the cooling of the refrigeration slowed the decay. But either way, he went back there and then he couldn't get out. And then that's a way to die right there.
Do you think he came out of the tanning bed looking like SpongeBob after he got sun bleached?
Sun bleached, no? Maybe when it was in Sandy's dome Sandy, water.
Yeah, water.
Have you seen that there's a Sandy pleasure doll?
Sandy Cheeks pleasure doll?
Oh,
Yeah.
my
No,
God.
why?
Because we live in end times.
Who would sexualize Sandy the squirrel?
Timu, I guess.
Oh.
People like to do it. They do the best of everything.
That's like, what's that doll that people can get and it's got like a built-in
Careful.
Symboid thing? What's that vibrating thing? But it's built into like a teddy bear. And it's like, why you want that on that teddy bear? It's got like a built-in vibrator and it has underpants and it's hidden by the underpants. But it's like, you can get like, there's like a beaver and like a teddy bear. They almost look like Squishmallows, but they have a phallic vibration device.
My God. We can move on.
Okay, that's fine.
Veterans Day was this week. I happen to have a favorite veteran. I have a cousin, Clay and I have a cousin who is a Marine, and he's definitely crazy, but he's also an absolute hero and a personal role model of mine. He's absolutely well-suited, I'd say, for that career that he's in. Chase.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
And him and his whole family are in Korea right now.
That's true. Living there.
And so shout out to all the veterans. Veterans Day was this week, and he's my personal favorite veteran, but I like a lot of veterans. There's a lot of veterans out there that are cool.
A nice dude.
And our mom works for the VA, so she's out there with the veterans every day. Shout out to her, saving lives, keeping asses clean, whatever it needs.
Vet ass.
Whatever it needs. There's a veteran's ass.
Takes a big heart to do that. Wipe ass.
She's
Why are you talking about my mom's heart?
She's got
bro?
the biggest heart. The doctors say she needs to slow
too
it down.
big. They said, ma'am, I think your heart is swollen.
Yeah. So here's the thing: is when you love too much, it can cause issues down the line.
I've always said that. What is my goddamn password? I found it.
Thank goodness.
And
it's called myocardial hypertrophy.
Hypertrophy? You're not a doctor.
Her heart muscles are so big.
Can't skip heart day.
Can't skip heart day. That's why I drink enough caffeine to kill a rhino.
I think you are among several men in your generation who are attempting to diversify their independence and usefulness in a post-apocalypse scenario.
Oh yeah, no, there's stuff that I know.
I mean, you're physically strong, and you have medical training.
Yep.
And you can build things. What else can you do?
I'm really good at crying in private, which is something you got to do in the end times. You know, you don't want people seeing your weaknesses.
Well, I think for like women, it's their looks, but for a guy, it's their ability to survive the apocalypse. That's what makes a guy
if there's
stand
one thing
out.
you can really build yourself up on.
Do you feel like that's increased in the past several years as opposed to previous generations probably didn't worry about that as much?
What's that?
Definitely
What has
lately.
increased?
Yeah.
The demand for people to be post-apocalypse ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People love that shit.
Yeah, pretty much ever since The Walking Dead came out. I'm pretty sure that people just started fantasizing about being ready.
Yeah.
you know.
Building compounds.
Yeah,
And
all
since
the
2012,
Mormons.
really.
Yeah, all the Mormons
At
buying
least.
all those properties. In the
Was
Midwest.
that the first time it was supposed to be the modern apocalypse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
First time, no. But first time in our lives that we were adults that are were a part of it.
That's not true, though. What about Y2K? People were doing
weren't
stuff for
adults in
Y2K.
Y2K,
But
that's
people
what I'm
were
saying.
doing stuff for Y2K.
Yes. Yeah.
What about the Cold War?
Cold War.
The Cold War.
You know, the word war comes from in Old English, war, which would be pronounced that way.
Hell yeah.
Speaking of Cold War being relevant, one of my favorite Brendan Fraser movies, Blast from
Blast from
the
the Past.
The dad was an inventor that
built a
liquidated all of
bunker.
his stocks and took all of his money and used it to build a shelter that you could live in for 30 years. For the exact reason. Yeah.
But then it was like Bay of Pigs. And they were watching Bay of Pigs on the TV. And then
I love Bay of Pigs. I always want to go visit
His
there
wife
'cause
was
those
pregnant.
pigs come up to you right in the water.
It's beautiful there.
So
and he
cute.
sent them all. He sent all his party guests home. And him and his pregnant wife got in the bunker, and then like a plane crashed, or like a satellite or something fell in their
It
backyard.
was a plane. It was a plane doing a test run, and it had engine failure, and it just crashed on their house.
when they were already in the bunker, so they thought it was nuclear war for like 30
Yeah,
years.
nuclear.
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 See, it's a great idea to prepare ahead of time, but then when you get in there, you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do.
Especially if you are on a high protein diet and then you go from that to a no protein diet.
I haven't
'cause
been
they're
able to
on
get
just canned
through a
foods.
whole movie in a long time, but did you see Cloverfield Lane?
Yeah, 10 Cloverfield Lane. So it turns out that those are all in multiple universes because there's the Cloverfield paradox as well. And you find out that there's multi-dimensional travel.
Yeah, that show's trippy as fuck.
It gets weird. So, yeah. Also but 10 Cloverfield Lane is all about Stockholm Syndrome, and John Goodman did a good job in that. But then, spoiler, it's been long enough. If you haven't seen it, you're fine.
No, we're
At
fine.
the end of the movie, she finally escapes, and then it's like, oh no, there are aliens, and there is a whole invasion of a species thing.
And that's why he's in the bunker.
And that's why he was in the bunker. But she assumed that he was
Crazy.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead assumed that he was lying because he was a crazy person.
Yeah, I do like her. She was in a bunch of stuff.
She also stole Ewan McGregor from his wife.
See, why are people being messy for no reason?
They did season 3 of Fargo together, and then he
Love is
divorced
a
his
reason.
wife. Actually, Fargo, the series, has been like a Love Connection style show for some reason for the casting. Because Kirsten Dunst and her husband, who played Todd in Breaking Bad, I can't remember his name right now.
Do they shoot on location in Fargo?
I think a lot of it's in Canada because filming in Canada has
Is
less
cheaper?
regulations and is cheaper. Yeah, because there's really only several places that major filming happens in the United States. There's like in Georgia, around
Atlanta.
And then there's another one, can't remember that one, because Los Angeles is so oversaturated, you can't really do that. But then Canada's a huge one.
Yeah, LA and New York are real expensive.
Yeah, a lot of the wilderness shooting in the show Supernatural, which lasted like 15 seasons,
Yeah.
a lot of that happened in Canada. So much that the leads actually
Really?
bought homes in Canada.
Because they were shooting so much in Canada.
Yeah, and they'd rather be home rather than living in a trailer.
Yeah.
Well, and once you go to Canada, it's so beautiful there.
Canada's
is,
nice.
It's like you
It's-
only want to leave during the winter, really.
Not only is it beautiful, but it's
Not even now. Winter's so
But they're
fucking
not gonna
mild.
they're not gonna let us in. I could get in. You could probably get in with your trade skills, but like they're cracking down on immigration to Canada right now.
Well, I mean, I want out kind of sometimes a lot.
Oh, I would definitely. I've always thought I could go to Canada. It's always seemed like softer in all the right ways for me, less formal in all the right ways.
Especially if we fall
Softer.
into the whole capitalist totalitarian hellscape.
I meant culturally.
They got grizzly bears and moose just walking around.
But
out
you know
there.
what?
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with wildlife in my normal life.
But grizzly bears and meese are not something to be scared of.
I would
if
love
you,
a
if
moose.
you mind your business.
If a moose came up to me, I'd give it a smooch.
Is it mooses or meese?
A bear
Oh, we
might
could
look
write a
at
It's
you-
just
children's
moose.
book. If
It's
a
just
moose
moose.
came up to me, I
Yeah.
would give it a
Just moose.
smooch.
A grizzly bear saw you, Jake, they'd be like thinking that you're their child.
You know what? I just
They
shared
try
something to
feed you,
somebody.
like Seth Green in a Without a Paddle. They would
Yeah,
bring you
exactly.
a dead weasel and be like, "Eat this." And
There's
you'd be
a
like,
bear.
"Ooh, I'd rather have a Diet Coke."
Meet the boss, the 650-pound grizzly bear who fathered 70% of the grizzlies in
Yes.
Banff
That guy.
is a
and
boss.
survived getting hit by a train and 8 other bears.
Yes.
Banff. I don't know where that is.
Strongest seed this side of the Mississippi.
Badass motherfucker.
No,
the Chuck Norris
BANFF is where he is.
Banff, Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has
Oh, it is a
beautiful-
Canadian bear.
Yeah.
He
like
covers a territory of
historical-
1,500 kilometers.
Banff just means big ass national
So
forest.
he's the daddy to 70% of the bears in
big
the
ass
area.
fucking forest. That's what
big ass
Banff
national
means.
fucking
Big
forest.
ass national
it's
fucking forest.
2 Fs.
2 F's, you're right. Big ass national fucking forest. Banff.
Google Banff. Banff.
Well, that's where he
It's
is.
a beautiful, like national park.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, there's lakes there, and with like some beautiful
Towering
mountain
mountains.
views.
Yeah.
Imagine having that on your resume, surviving a train.
Getting hit by a train. 70. He pulls up and he says, "Hey, I'm the boss. This is my area.
Yeah.
70% of any of these bears you see around here, I'm they daddy,
Yeah.
and I got hit by a train right here. So y'all better be careful."
But he looks so badass and has done so much, but he actually has the voice of one of those gay elephants from an old cartoon that saw a mouse. He's like, "Oh no.
Oh no,
no, give
I'm
it
the
away.
boss. I got hit by a train.
I'm sorry, it's 70% of the baby bears in this area."
I had to eat some of them.
Well, he's Canadian, so he's always apologizing too.
That's true.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Banff is lovely. This MacBook is so old that Chrome doesn't want to exist on it anymore, so it's hard for me
You
to.
just got to do Safari.
No, Safari's worse.
Then you got to do Firefox.
I only use A First Timer's Guide to
Firefox?
Banff National Park. Oh, there's all bears through this bitch.
I bet you could find Ask Jeeves if you look deep enough.
I wonder what makes him so good at being a bear.
It's the seed.
He's got just good seed. You think his father was good?
Yeah. Just that's what it is. It's that pedigree.
They only call him the boss. I wish he had a cuter name.
Sometimes they call him, Lil Bossy.
Lil Bossy? Lil Bossy the grizzly bear.
Yeah. Bossy the bear.
Yeah. I love him and everything he's doing. Gary is 7 minutes out.
Oh, did you see that Emperor Penguin's finally losing his coat, and now it's just kind of like has like a pimp jacket because he
The big one?
Yeah,
Pesto, the giant baby penguin.
Yeah, he started losing his baby feathers, so now he's like missing all of his chest feathers. So now he just kind of has a big furry pimp coat on.
He's feeling like a boss.
He is a boss.
Yeah.
Pesto the boss.
He is so handsome.
He's growing up.
My thing is,
he will not die. He's Pesto the perpetual penguin.
did you guys hear about the UAP hearings in Congress?
One more time.
The UFO hearings in Congress this week?
No.
No.
Lots of good stuff. There's lots of stuff, of course, that the guys that were testifying did not necessarily have clearance to tell us, right? Which we know to be the case oftentimes.
I know the Miami thing was real.
Yeah, so that's part of it. The problem is that disclosure has been hard because there's not a lot of conclusion to be drawn in a safe way about what we're dealing with and how and why. So I saved a clip because I wanted to make sure to cover.
Do you think they're capable of interdimensional travel, and that's why they're so hard to track?
Yeah, I don't think they're physical.
Or do you think they're existing under the ocean surface, where people have also seen UFOs or
Well, this is part of what they
UAPs?
talked about too. It's actually for the first time being talked about as both.
Is it multiple types of creatures, or?
Sir, I couldn't answer that. I can tell you anecdotally that it was discussed quite a bit when I was at the Pentagon.
Is this part of the Lockheed Martin discussion, or was this the biologists?
Who's Lockheed Martin?
Separate yet related.
Okay. Has there been any, to your knowledge, any communication with a non-human life form?
So the term communication is a bit of a trick word because there's verbal communication like we're having now. The problem is you also have nonverbal communication. And so I would say definitively
I was just about to
yes,
say.
but from a nonverbal meaning, when a Russian
Like in The
reconnaissance
Arrival.
aircraft comes into U.S. airspace, we scramble two F-22s.
Have you seen The Arrival?
We are certainly communicating intent and capability.
A lot of their alphabet's made out of
I
circles.
think the same goes with this. We have these things that are being observed over controlled U.S. airspace, and they're not really doing a good job hiding themselves. They're making it pretty obvious they have the ability to even interfere with our nuclear equities and our nuclear readiness. Certainly, there seems to be some indication that they're being provocative, meaning that they're, in some cases,
Sexy.
literally splitting aircraft formations right down the middle. So that's an air
Yeah,
safety
they're here to
issue.
split you down.
So
the middle.
according to this guy, we're not talking to the aliens like how you might think we would talk to a foreign government or a group of people, right? But we are definitely interacting in that, but a huge part of this hearing went into that we have footage and experiences and declassified things of these things coming in and out of the ocean. So it's become a maritime concern, in addition to being an aerial concern, in that they will kind of interrupt flight exercises. They will invade airspace without communication, and then they can just disappear.
Yeah,
and then just go.
they're flying around thinking that we're just so dumb and stupid.
Yeah,
But
it's like when we go to the monkey house.
That guy also confirmed for sure that we've reverse engineered technology from recovered crafts, from recovered biologics, meaning entities, non-human entities, physical
like Independence
things.
Day.
Exactly.
they're probably just here for our weed and our booze.
I don't think
That's
it's
what
that.
they do. Is they're resource locusts, so
Yeah.
they just go planet to planet for the weed and the booze of the planet.
They're like,
and
damn,
they
this
move
tank's
on.
strong.
They're like the ethanol here is way better than the ethanol on Mars. Yeah, that's what it is.
I love how they're threatening these entities with nuclear action. Like it's not going to just turn into a Looney Tunes movie, and it's going to come at them and
Nuclear.
come out like a cartoon fucking hammer on the other side, like fucking with us like
Well,
that.
what about that thing that redirected itself that's like the size of New York that's thought to actually, instead of being a comet, might actually be like a spacecraft or something, and it redirected course. It course corrected.
Yeah, we talked about that the night before your wedding.
Yes, course corrected to. But I was really out of it that night.
No, but I'm saying for the listeners, because that was an episode of this show.
Yeah, so it course corrected to Earth, towards Earth, and like that could be a whole scary thing.
I say let them in.
Let them in. Let them do what they want.
Come on down.
Good chance that they're going to have better technology than we do. So
We can make a cool handshake with them. It'd be great.
I could do a cool handshake. You could maybe even try to sire some sort of child with one. You know, like
With an alien?
like in Galaxy Quest.
Yeah. Now, I think I do think it's gonna be more of a spiritual and existential discussion than people are thinking. I don't think it's just as simple as physical things coming here. I also think
It's
the
about
physical
the
things that are here, I think, are already here. There's probably stuff in the ocean. Courtney, can you go grab Gary
Yes, I can.
from the door we came in through?
Like, hey, are you Gary? And then just grab him. Can you also grab me one of these out of the mini fridge?
Yes.
Thanks.
So, my thing is, it's very possible that if you look historically, when people talk about gods or angels or demons, that those could be very similar entities to the entities we're discussing with the UAP phenomenon, and that it's more about it's grown into a thing.
What about-
narrative that it may not actually include all of the information.
What about the
necessary.
burning bush?
Exactly. Well, and this brings me to the next thing I wanted to talk about was the come on in, Gary. Come on in, Gary. Gary Reinhardt, everybody.
Gary.
We're gonna
Welcome.
knock out this Ark of the Covenant stuff real quick. Are you gonna bounce?
I'm leaving.
I love you, Courtney.
Good to see you, buddy. Go with God.
Be safe out there. Keep
good.
Christ in your life.
Say hi to your mother for me.
That one, they think the original Ark of the Covenant that Moses built and stored the Ten Commandments in is in Ethiopia, being protected by monks that go blind from the radiation. Also, an anonymous architect built an exact replica of the Ark of the Covenant, which apparently has been sent to Israel. But before it was there, it spent 8 months at Mar-a-Lago.
Yes, I heard about that.
So that I just think about
You
that.
guys talking politics?
Yeah. So
Yeah, we're talking about the
Trump
Ark
was
of the
hiding
Covenant.
documents and the Ark of the Covenant, the replica, in his home.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that he was hiding it.
Well, people didn't know about it until it got moved.
Showing everybody.
But they added a Torah.
Hey, you want to see something cool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I just spent 18 hours looking for voter fraud in the fields of southern Illinois. I'm going to find it.
You want to
me-
donkey
give me
lip that
time.
mic, Gary.
You got to get
that?
up in there.
Oh,
I don't want you to- yeah.
There you
Oh,
go. If
yeah.
you want to move it closer to you, you can. So you
No,
get
I'm
it
fine.
back.
I'm fine.
It's elastic. Gary,
Pour my beer.
you've met
Oh.
my brother Clay.
Yeah, a handful
met
of times.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's,
When you
he's
get
the
yourself a
host.
beer, you can get me a Diet Coke.
Sure. You want anything?
I'll take, Diet Coke.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll get a Diet Coke and a beer and a Diet Coke.
So, are we already on? Are we starting? this,
No,
or
it's we were doing a
Okay,
cold
cool.
open.
Okay, cool.
I had Courtney sitting there to sound check that spot.
Okay.
We were at my house doing some things, repairing some infrastructure.
There's the joys of Waffle House.
R.I.P. to Uncle Bill's. Guys, welcome back to Jacob V Weekly. We're back with Gary Reinhardt, and we were just talking about breakfast. One thing that I love is Uncle Bill's, and we just lost the one on Kings Highway here, a historic location.
There's still one out in Manchester, though.
Yeah. But we lost the one on Kings Highway where my Aunt Cindy had to give me the Heimlich maneuver as a child because I ate too much bacon all at once.
How did that
that
one
real?
go under?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How did the Kings Highway one go under, but the one in Manchester's still there? Is my question.
It's probably
'Cause they
easier
did-
to staff the one out there. You probably get less thievery.
Also, is the Courtesy Diner on Hampton still 24 hours?
No.
No, neither.
It's like
neither's
hit
the
or
one in
miss if
Crestwood.
it's even open.
Well, there's one that's at Laclede and Watson in the county,
That one's always open.
and they're not 24 hours anymore. Oh. And it was very sad to me when my
Thanks,
my
COVID.
first experience was at the one on Kings Highway, which is now like a hot chicken joint. But I can still get a good slinger. There's a breakfast joint in Afton that I like that I live close to called Breakfast and Burgers.
I've had that a handful of times. It's good.
And they have a skillet thing that's like, it's called the Southern Skillet, and it's
See, that's too
basically
much
like
for me.
biscuits and gravy on hash browns with eggs on top of
yeah,
it.
halfway through, I don't think I want to live anymore. so I
Yeah,
don't
but
do
then you just
that.
go take a nap in the dark.
See, omelet. I gotta stay ready.
Omelet's good.
I gotta stay.
I do love an
fresh.
omelet.
They
and
use,
they're-
they use a
my
lot
favorite
of butter in
breakfast
their
place would make any of their omelets into a breakfast quesadilla,
Oh, yeah.
and I ate a lot of those in college.
There's a place that does, you can turn any omelet into a breakfast burrito. I can't remember what it is.
I don't need those.
They just throw
carbs.
all the same stuff into a tortilla. It's a one flour tortilla. It's like 120 calories.
do it.
Whatever.
It's too much.
Ah.
See, I I was always a courtesy guy over Uncle Bill's, even though courtesy, somebody ruined
Same.
it for me because they said going to courtesy diners like being in an ER because it's so lit up.
lit
and Uncle
up.
Bill's was so dark and like depressing and like, oh, it's 4 a.m.
And there was always that
We're
one
still here.
waitress that's like, "What can I do for you?"
Yeah,
hon?"
there's one. Well, that's you know what? We still have that. We have the Buttery, baby.
Oh, the Buttery.
The Buttery,
A good
dude.
friend of mine posted on Instagram today that she went to the Buttery and the cook was open carrying like a pistol.
I posted that on Facebook a year ago, and I was like, dude, if your guy who's making your omelet doesn't have a gun on
Stay
his hip,
strapped.
are you even in America? Are you?
Well,
Are
at
you?
Waffle House, they can just throw hands.
That's right. They fight. Like
Yeah,
this is
they'll
Ed
fight.
on. Yeah, Ed
Yeah, I
on
think that's
gravel
been long
or
established.
But
that-
when you're that deep on South Grand trying to run a breakfast joint that's been broken into or burglarized so
And
many
you're 24,
times,
baby. They
carry
are
it.
24
They
hours.
are
Exactly. They're not fucking around.
24/7?
Yeah.
At the
Oh,
Buttery?
yes.
Oh, I should go right now.
So my favorite
That's why
Buttery.
it's so buttery. They don't have time to clean.
Ooh, gross. My favorite story is Ed. You know, like the second time I went in there, he's what 7'4". He's
Big
got
guy.
a gun on his hip,
Yeah.
and he comes up and he goes, "How was everything?"
Is that the guy that has like the boil on his hand or something? He's got some.
Don't
you
say
leave
that.
him alone?
Yeah,
something
don't
on
say
his-
that.
Jesus
I just said his
Christ.
name. Don't say what
He's got like this growth right here,
Stop.
and it's just
Cut that.
there.
I
Cut
don't
that.
know if that's true. Yeah, yeah.
I'll cut
but
that.
no,
What, the
he's
food's
walking
still
up.
good?
Yeah, it's okay. But he walks up and he goes, "How was everything?" And I'm like, I go, "I want to talk to the manager's manager." And he goes, "Sorry, man. Corporate's at home taking a nap." And I'm like, "Oh, dude, Ed, fucking the
Gary,
goat.
we should get that guy on the pod. I didn't know they were
Dude,
24/7.
get Ed. Yeah, you just
yeah.
hey, you just take this.
We could
here.
shoot this there.
He's the
You
guy.
need to, yeah.
I
I've
don't
been
know.
wanting to
I
do
don't know
that.
if they'd be cool.
I've
with that,
always
but-
wanted to do a podcast at Hodax. You don't like Hodax?
Oh yeah, you're white. I forgot. No,
Yeah.
I like seasoning on my food. Jesus.
So
we just
we're-
go-
we
I
don't-
would read it.
we
You
don't
and
go-
87. You know what? You and 87-year-old white people have something. in
We
common.
don't go
Yeah.
for the fried chicken because it's gone downhill so much over the
What?
years.
What do you go for?
The
We go for
mushrooms.
The mushrooms.
The fried
fried
mushrooms.
mushrooms with
I can
the
make you
horseradish
those.
ranch.
Yeah, we can make those.
I got a place back home. In
Where
my
is
small
that,
town,
Gary?
Clinton County, Illinois.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I've been here over a decade. I've been woke for 11 years. What's up? Yeah,
yeah.
Give it.
That
what's
was a
up?
hard first year
My,
then.
my wife is from Madison County,
Okay, what's
Highland,
up?
Illinois.
I'm from Clinton County, which is like right there.
Right
by
there,
Highland.
uh-huh.
Half the kids in my class went to. They were from Highland. I mean, we had a bunch of kids from Highland and St. Rose that went to Mater Dei, and I went to the Catholic. So I'm sure she knows.
I know
Mater Dei.
enough.
Yeah, but yeah, a lot of
Do
fun.
you
A
know
lot of
the
fun out there.
Lord?
I don't fucks with the IL.
Oh well, we know the Lord out there in Clinton County. 91% of us know the Lord. Yeah, we don't mess around. There's a few of those libtards out there, but we weed them out.
Yeah, they get scared.
I met a good handful. So I worked at a restaurant in Webster Groves, and 4 staff members were all from Highland, Illinois, and they were all the most well, I guess liberal, people
It'll
you
do
can think
that
of. And
to
I'm
you.
like, you guys all are from Highland? That's crazy. But then I've been to Highland enough now because I've been with my wife. Well, we've been together for 5 years. We just got married last month.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so cliquey, and people are so judgy, and and like her family's. She comes from an Air Force family, so they're not from Highland. They just live in
they're in
Highland.
trouble.
They're
Yeah,
out. Like
yeah.
people do not like them, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, okay, but you gotta like know somebody to not like them,
You got
right?
yeah. Well, no, not necessarily. I mean,
Not
that
there.
it was. See, I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that growing up there. So I just was myself and realized later that I wasn't. I didn't
You
have
gotta
the
know
4 last
somebody to
names.
not like them. That's new to us.
You gotta know somebody.
Really?
That you and I learned that as children. I think that's what we believe, but I don't think people believe that abroad.
Oh,
You got to know somebody to not like
we
them.
give people the chance.
See,
We have
didn't-
enough
don't do
interaction
that.
stories with
We don't.
weirdos that it's like, oh, I didn't like this person after I met them. But like, well, that's not true, because now if I see somebody and I don't like their vibe, I'm like, fuck that person. But back then,
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
See, that wasn't how small town America was. I mean, I grew up in a town, we didn't have black people. We had a black person. We had James. And he was our baseball coach.
Just James.
That was the one year the New Baden Warriors became the New Baden Dark Knights.
Ooh.
Yeah, and we beat the shit out of everybody. His pep talks were like,
Illinois is
"It's
good at
hot,
that.
I'm black, let's go," and that was it. And he would yell at umpires, like he would be like, he would just come out of the dugout and he would look right at you if you were missing calls, and he'd go, "Hey, you're not getting your cookies and milk tonight," and that was it. And we're like, that was how
Motivation
that's James.
enough.
But let me
Yeah.
ask you, from the perspective of a player with a coach like that, did you feel like you could play more courageously because he would yell at the refs for you?
Yeah, because everybody else was white, and there's this badass looking black dude that's on our side.
And so he
And
starts
you're like,
yelling at
yeah,
you. You're like, he's got to
us.
know the rules,
He's
right?
handling it.
He's got to be.
Dude, he wore a Magic Johnson jersey 4 days a week.
Wow.
Same one?
In my town, I'm sure. Yeah. And he was in a town at 2,500. And like 5 years later, I ran into him and he's like, you know what? Everybody in this town still calls me coach. And I only coach for 1 year. And I'm like, man, that's so much better than what they could be calling you.
Yeah.
That's not what. That's
well,
not.
there it is.
That's not what a lot of them
But
were
also,
going to start with.
rural Illinois really can do that. My buddy,
They love a coach
My
out
buddy
there.
who lives here now, he grew up in Peking, Illinois.
Where?
Peking or Peking, Illinois.
Peking,
Peking.
up north.
And
the
their
Peking Chinks.
the Chinks.
Yeah!
Their mascot was the Chinks.
The Chinks for years.
It was an Asian man, and their team was the Chinks.
My mom's
for-
high school hasn't changed their mascot. They are the Freeburg Midgets.
Yes, I
Yes.
heard about them as well.
Yeah, my mom went there.
And
Sorry.
people are like, "Oh, Illinois, it's the land of Lincoln. It's a blue state." I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm like,
It did,
with all of this
Kamala
going
did
on.
win Illinois.
Out of
Well, yeah.
Chicago. Hey, out of Chicago. If you're outside
Yeah.
of Chicago, there's 4 liberals.
Right, we're going to DeKalb next weekend.
Where?
DeKalb,
Northern
yeah,
Illinois
northern,
University,
like
baby.
way west of
I
Chi-town.
like Cairo, Illinois. They call it Caro.
I did a show down there at an Elks Club one time. It was a good time. Yeah, I think.
Gary, when did you start doing stand up?
2011. And then I've
And so
quit,
you
like-
started while still living in rural Illinois?
Yeah. And I started bringing like D-list celebrities out to do shows. I should say D-list. Cut that out. Like Kevin Farley, Chris's brother.
Yeah.
Like Stuttering John Melendez from Howard Stern.
Yeah.
Reverend Bob Levy would come do the new Memphis.
Well, especially back
station.
then in comedy. I mean, those
This
are
is
those are
this
big
is only
names.
this is only 5 or 6 years ago though, because you realize like when I talked to the booker from New York, I was like, holy cow! Like he would actually come to the show, and he's like, Gary, these dudes need to eat too, and I'm like, oh, okay, like, and it was that easy. And then I've quit so many times, like. Because I get tired of it, and you go through a high, and then you go back. to your, like,
and there's that grind where you got to go
Yeah.
eat shit constantly.
Well,
to get
and
your
I
good
did that at a
ones.
club until one day he was like, "Hey, the club's not here anymore," and I was like, "Oh, thanks for telling me." Kind of. And then I came over here to St. Louis, and then hit or miss doing shows. Did some do some shows with my friends. I'm just lazy, and my whole really goal to do stand up was just to get laid after having
Right.
after breaking up with my baby mama. So then I started like dating 3 to 5 women at a time. So I was like, who needs to fucking be funny for anybody? Who would do that? I'm from a town where we had 4 women. 2 were pregnant, 2 were dating your buddies. So
And they're
now-
probably all
and I-
related to you somehow.
Yeah, we can get to that too. I dating 2 of my cousins growing up. Yeah. But yeah, so you get over here and it's insane and you're having a good time. So, now I'm back. I got a couple buddies that are forcing me to get back into it. So, and I shouldn't say back into it because I always write and shit, but like to actually do, like you said, grind and go through.
Oh yeah,
hitting
like
it.
said,
And I did that.
It's like a pig rooting for the truffle, and it's like you still got to go through all that shit and mud to find the truffle.
Rooting for the truffle.
But hey, but at the end of the day, you end up. Reality of it is, you end up driving 4 hours to make $60 in front of 17 people.
Yeah.
And I did that with one of the best comics in St. Louis, and I sat there in a crowd of 7 people going, "This guy's fucking murdering." And guess what? 7 people. This should be literally. He did so well, it should have been on HBO. But there were 7 people there. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So
I've had the opportunity to record some shows for comedians. I did a whole weekend at the Funny Bone in Westport for Reggie Cush Edwards, who I then went on to mix and master his rap album, and he did a double album of comedy and
that's fun.
rap music.
and rap, and it was great. It was and I had to listen to all of it a lot. And it was a really good experience for me. But I also recorded it live there, but just the audio. I didn't get video. Now I would do video like this, like because I've been doing this for my bands and stuff where I do these cameras, and then you could get the audio separately and make a really nice product out of it.
So you're
I've
gonna
never
follow me
done
around for 2 months.
but
and-
this is what I'm saying would be
Yeah.
fun. We should.
Let's go.
I need
Tomorrow morning.
I mean, the hardest part is I just need to be able to afford to have a camera person at all times.
Tomorrow might be rough for him.
I have
8 o'clock.
I have a baby shower
8 o'clock.
tomorrow. My wife's knocked up.
We talked about this.
Yes, he's
As a 2-time
they
North
are
American.
they are with child. She's not knocked up.
Well,
They were going
Okay.
for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
hey.
it's
As
yeah.
a 2-time North American pull-out champion, I want to tell both of
Oh
you.
my goodness.
Because
That's the thing too. I can't tell when she gets here if I'm going to want a dozen more or if I'm not going to want any, and we're going to fight
You're
about
gonna
that.
find out.
We'll find out.
You don't have any kids yet, do you?
No, I need you to
told
get
guys
her-
planning that too?
I told my wife it is up to her. She's still on the fence. Either way, I'm on board. That's why I told her.
She's a lot younger than him.
Not a lot.
She's
old is
alarmingly
she?
younger than him.
She's 27.
How old are you?
33 today.
Dude, you made it sound. I thought he was like 47 and he's dating a
No,
25.
we're like we're 5.5 years apart.
Her and him, but me and
That's
him,
nothing.
Me and him are the same age now for 2 months because we were 10
So,
months apart.
Okay,
twins.
so yeah, I had my kid at 20 or at 32. So I have a 13-year-old,
Well,
and
there
I
you
got
go.
sole custody. What's up? One of 4 guys in North America.
Boom.
I get child support twice a month, and guess what? She is
Holy
8
cow.
months late as of
Oh,
today.
I'm so
yeah.
sorry.
Listen,
don't apologize.
We could get that cleared up.
Well,
I
that
have
could get rough.
I have a card for a guy. You know that metal business card I have? That's for that private investigator that used to go
Well,
get
I don't
all-
need to investigate anything. I don't want her money. We don't need anything
Oh,
from
okay.
her. We stay away, and we don't need that. But
Well,
yeah.
praise God.
Oh,
also,
praise him.
No, but also if she defaults enough on all that stuff, doesn't it eventually become a felony? Or something
Yeah,
like
after
that?
in like 4 months it does, and that's fine. That's not my deal because
I'm just saying.
I got what I wanted. I won. I spiked the football on her face. She
Back
took me to
pay
court and
happens.
lost. She took me to court and lost, and guess what? At the end of the day, I kick it with my kid every day. That was the goal. Her only goal was
And
to
that's
get
a
in the
good
way
thing.
of that, and
Yeah.
that's awesome. Yeah, she's awesome.
That's always been my
Student of the week this week.
my
Woo.
fear.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
see,
yeah,
now that's
yeah.
a victory. That is not easy to get.
Yeah.
I had the worst acne the week
There's
I
only
had
2
student of
kids-
the week.
There's only 2 kids in her school though. Yeah.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That other one must be a real piece of shit, though.
No, they got it last week.
They rotate.
Actually, yeah, there's
good.
alternate.
They have a
yeah.
non-incumbent policy.
So,
But
go ahead,
there's
you're-
still an incentive.
Gary, I was going to say,
Yeah, you just
part
got-
of the reason we wanted to do this is you have some shows coming up, which is not always the case, like you were saying.
Yeah,
Like
but
you,
they're not anywhere local though. That's
no,
what
but I
sucks.
want to do this. This show is international. We have people in Bangladesh,
It's true.
Switzerland,
Okay.
the UK. I actually had
four subscribers in Korea alone.
for our last episode, I had a couple of dozen unique downloads in the UK that I'm not used to seeing. So, and I have traveled.
We've also blown up on TikTok.
I've traveled to Sedona and Las Vegas with the show, and Florida.
So can I come back when I get dates in January then?
Absolutely, please. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But what are the dates you have lined up right now? Because you.
I gotta talk to fucking Kyle. It's Vincennes, Indiana, and Robinson, Illinois. It's in December. I'm that lazy to where.
No, but I thought you were going to Vegas.
He's played
Oh,
played
with
shows
Tina.
in Dayton, Ohio, multiple times.
Really?
Yeah,
Comedy?
I've done no music, but I did. We went to Dayton and Madison and Milwaukee and Chicago.
They did a tour.
And Lawrence,
No
Kansas.
Antics, his band, one of his bands.
And where else did we go?
All right, hey, cut this out because
Oh,
yeah.
I
Chris
cut it.
Oliver, this dude in St. Louis, went and did the showcase. I'm supposed to do next week.
Oh,
he
yeah.
did it last night. He's like, why are you doing this? And I go, because everybody around here went to Vegas to do this showcase. And he goes, there's 10 people here, and the crowd doesn't get comedy. I'm like, I'm going to Vegas for that. So we might be
You can still say you
rethinking
did it.
Vegas. So
Oh, that would be
yeah.
fun.
Just
Maybe
just
we
say
should-
I'm doing Robinson, Illinois.
Can I just
and
send you with a
Vincennes. Yeah.
GoPro and you can document the experience for the show, and then it's worth it?
We can do whatever you want.
I
Jacob. Yeah.
If everybody watching this right now buys something on the Patreon, like our dear friend James just did, we can send Gary to Las Vegas. Is Southwest okay with you?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, we'll
Yeah.
fly Gary out
Well,
for the
actually,
showcase
hold
with
on.
your
And I'll hold your. I'll
with
put a
your
GoPro. I'll go
Hold
put
on.
a GoPro on my hat.
It's not a
literally.
GoPro. It's in a
Or
case.
we could do body cam.
But listen, what you can do, and I recommend it, is instead of doing Lambert, the
Mascoutah?
the Belleville Mascoutah Airport. That's
Yeah.
like
Way
mostly goes to
cheaper.
like Florida and East and things like that. They do go to Vegas, and it is the cheapest and easiest flying experience out of St. Louis I've had.
Because Tino Terrell Jr., he's out there. He's going to get me some gigs if he didn't break up with his girlfriend. He's
never
got a
know.
girlfriend out there who's talking in third person. It's hard to date comedians. She's like, hey, you respect. I don't want to say her name, but he's like, you respect. And then she would say her name, and he's like, wow, she's right in front of me saying the third person. I'm like, okay, maybe I understand why you don't want to date her. I
That's
get it.
understandable.
But
That could be a little bit hard. Yeah.
yeah.
Because you don't really know till you're out there and you're in the thick of it.
Well, especially when like this girl's like, you need to respect me, and it's like, and he's like, why? What'd you do? What, you know?
Sometimes people just demand the respect. They refuse to lead a life that they do not deserve, and so then they have to manifest.
Well,
that.
that's now. That's now.
That's
That's
just what
everybody.
it is. So, yeah, you just got to make it happen. I had a question for you when it came to
Yes.
that. I used to go to the Funny Bone and all kinds of open mics and stuff like that, like a decade ago, with the idea that like, oh, doing like an open mic like a 2 or whatever 2 to 5 minute set, whatever the hell it was,
five,
would be
4 to
fun.
5, yeah.
And I got horrified because so many people bombing. And how do you do that? How do you just eat that and not let it destroy you?
You worry about it for 20 years, and then you get on stage and you realize that if the only way anybody in that room is going to care is if you do good. That's it. Nobody's going to boo you or go. They're just going to look at their phone. So at the end of the day, what is bombing? The only way it matters is if you do good. But everybody's always worried, I'm going to bomb. Really?
Well, but when you bomb, you're forgettable, and then it just moves on, and you can do better
who
and come
cares?
back.
And
Right.
exactly, where they don't even
There
remember
might
your
be
name.
one guy that remembers you from last time.
Well, look at the best
then
comics
do better.
the best comics you know. You can think of 1 or 2 bits from them.
Mm-hmm.
These comics that you don't know, that you're like, oh, we saw this guy. Like anybody, I do ride share, and somebody in the car, I'll have them after a comedy show, and I'm like, oh, who'd you see? And they know the headliner, and they go, oh, but the feature was so great, or the host was so great. What was their name? They don't even remember the name of the
Completely
person they really like.
escapes
So
them.
that's what, and you'll have a block in your head for 15 years going, man, I should do stand up, but I'm so worried about bombing. When at the end of the day, it doesn't, that's a self think, where like, oh, like that matters, so.
It's just really hard. It feels like this glass ceiling that you got to break through is that fear of the bomb.
The first year I did it, I looked at the floor the whole time, and then I would look up and be like, why are those people still looking at me? And then one night in Cairo, Illinois,
Really?
swear to God, at an Elks Club, I was with this girl, Amber Clear, and all the way down there, she yelled at me. She's like, you better be funny. You better be funny. She was the headliner. You better be funny. So I just fell asleep. And then when I woke up, we were there. I smoked a bowl, went on stage, and like in the middle of it, I was like, holy shit, I can do this. All right, let's do this then,
At some point, yeah, you just kind of gotta. It's like jumping off of a cliff into some water. You just gotta fucking do it, right?
That's the thing. And a lot of weekends, like I would always worry early on where I was like, oh my God, Friday night, I'm going to have to be on the stage in this town and we're doing this. And then all of a sudden you go, hey, wait, that's got to happen either way. So why am I worried about it right now?
Right.
So, and that was the end of it. But yeah, no, I got some shows with my buddy Kyle. We're doing Robinson, Illinois. He's got Vincennes, Indiana, and we're going to do some local stuff, and we'll see if I'm lazy and I just go back to trying to bang chicks and play Madden, or if I still get the bug to go out hard and hit all the roads. The last show I did was a couple months ago in Columbia, Missouri, and that was a shit show too. That was fun. I went out there with 3 black guys thinking I was going to do an all-black show because I love those shows. Those are my favorite shows, and we're smoking like 41 blunts, and we get out there.
It's a 41 blunt salute.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, and the whole crowd is just fucking nothing but white people, and
We
the
were in
only
Columbia.
black guy was the owner. But I'm thinking, dude, we're going on. I mean, I didn't book the show; the other guys did. So I'm like,
a bunch
okay,
of Mizzou
I'm the
students.
token, white guy, but it was right outside of Mizzou. But I like to do KJ's on Broadway. That's you ever heard of that place?
Here?
KJ's.
Yeah, it's North Broadway. It's in the heart of the ghetto, and you got to be 35 and up to get in.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and it's fenced in. They got a couple of armed guards on golf carts. It's fucking awesome. And
I
I'm
love
usually,
armed guards.
I'm one of the few white guys that'll go, and the vibe in the crowds on Wednesday night there are amazing. It is a vibe like no other. And then
I'm not old enough yet.
you eat cat. You could if you're doing stand up, you can get in when you're 12. Yeah, but if you're you do your little set, and then you get your catfish dinner or fried chicken, and then you go to Wing It Wednesday over in U City and try to do another set. I haven't done that in a while. Where I did both those. I took my neighbor
Where's
Tamika,
Wing It Wednesday?
in U City.
It's
Yeah.
a place called Wing It.
Well, it's
no.
what's that place called?
I've
The
heard of it.
Destiny or whatever, or
Yeah.
the Legacy. The Legacy.
Legacy. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, it's predominantly black crowd. They got awesome wings there,
Yeah.
and it's been a couple months since I went it, but I would do. Me and my neighbor Tamika, I would go do the joke about her and close with it, and we went to KJ's, and then we'd go to Wing It Wednesday and do the same material and see how it worked, both places, and go home and go back to being lazy.
I
So-
saw Paul Mooney on his farewell tour, and he was really old. He should not have still been on the road. But the lady sharing the booth with my Caucasian friend and I was an older African-American lady, and she wouldn't eat the catfish she ordered because she could tell it wasn't fresh.
Wow.
Is that the end of that?
Yeah, the show wasn't great. The set wasn't great, and
And then 10 years later, you find out Paul Mooney's got a whole white family, and you go, it ruined everything for me.
doesn't bother me at
No,
all.
I'm kidding.
It seems like a conquest that it would be close to his heart.
It's on Facebook to where it's like, wow, my whole childhood's ruined because it's a picture of him and his wife and two
Well,
kids.
I'm not really bothered by that.
No, I think it's
you
funny.
know. I also just kind of can appreciate, somebody who doesn't let that kind of thing affect their material.
That is my material.
Or sometimes it plays into the material, like how Bill Burr has an African American wife, and like he uses that to his advantage sometimes because sometimes she'll give her opinions on things, and he's like, I'm a middle-aged white guy. I wouldn't even think of that way. Thank you so much for opening my eyes to the situation.
You're talking to a guy who spent his whole day with a woman named Tamika today. That her keychain says non-whites only.
Yeah.
She's been to Africa twice, and
What does she do in Africa?
She's my closer, just touring like a tourist. But she's my closer. Anytime I do the city, I talk about Tamika because she's my neighbor. I would have never talked to her in a million years, but about a year ago, I get a knock on my door on a Friday. It's her. She's got a Bud Ice in her hand, so I know I'm in trouble.
Oh, I love Bud Ice.
And she just walks
Takes me
in,
back.
and she goes, Alexa, play. I didn't know her name, okay? And she just goes, Alexa, play R. Kelly Strip for You. And
She knew you had Alexa?
she saw it, I guess.
Oh.
And I'm like, and she just
was
walks
guessing.
in. Yeah.
He opened the door, and she was
Yeah.
like, this guy's got it.
She's like, he's
Hey,
white.
Alexa.
He's a white guy.
If she's your neighbor, she probably heard you talking to
That
her.
maybe that too, but it was.
I
Here's
know
the,
he's got an Alexa.
So the crazy thing is, like, I broke up with my girlfriend, dating a lot, and she had never seen a black girl come in my door. But that morning, I had broke up with a mixed girl, big boobs, fun, a lot of fun, really loud. Then that night, she's drunk. She comes into my house, says, Alexa, play R. Kelly Strip for You. In our exact conversation, I go, hey, you're really hot. I know you hate white people, and you're my neighbor. What's going on here? And she goes, I have never seen an N-word with so many hoes. You've had to have 10 hoes in here since you moved in. I go, I think it's 14. I counted Thursday. And then she smacked me in the face, and then we started slow dancing to Teddy Pendergrass. Do you know who that is?
I love Teddy Pendergrass.
Okay, so on stage we
That's
don't
like
do the
old sexy.
Okay, so on stage we don't do R. Kelly because that's not fun anymore.
No.
So if I'm at KJ's or anywhere with Tamika, my closer is, I go. She walked in and said, Alexa, play Teddy Pendergrass, and then I pause, and I go, folks, that woman closed the door. She turned off the lights, and she gave me a love TKO. And for that, we say thank you, Tamika. And everybody, goes
they love
goes
that.
wild. Yeah, and those
a
are all
great
Teddy
story.
Pendergrass songs. If
Right.
you don't, yeah. So anyway, yeah.
We do love TKO.
I love that song. I fucking love it.
Can't put it in my head right now.
Looking
But
back
so was this
over my years,
Teddy-
I guess I shattered.
Was he like a post Al Green?
Contemporary, though.
You're gonna love this. So he was a guy that would not let dudes come to his shows.
Yeah, he did women-only shows.
Oh.
Women only shows because he's talking about showering with you and lighting candles. You ready for? Do you want the
Sentencing,
twist?
I suppose.
So in 1978, his brakes went out and he hit a tree and he had the most known transvestite in Philadelphia in his car.
Oh, well, there you go. That's the thing that happens.
Right? Yeah. Right? Yeah.
But also,
yeah.
it's such a tragedy when things like that happen. Just
He
like
didn't
the way-
die. He didn't die. He still
Oh,
lived to
oh,
2013
didn't
in a
die.
wheelchair.
Oh my God, okay.
That's the bad. Yeah.
Well, goodness gracious! I thought it
So,
was going to
yeah,
be one
yeah.
of those sad tragedies, like how Sam Cooke got killed.
Oh, speaking of Sam Cooke, me and Tamika love this story. You guys know who Bobby Womack is?
Yeah, I love Bobby Womack. He
Do you
did
know the
across
story?
110th Street.
Do you know his? It's the biggest scandal in music history. It's the shittiest thing ever. Are you ready for this? Do you know the story? The Bobby Womack story?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so Sam Cooke, right, is Bobby Womack's hero, his mentor. He's in love with him, and you're gonna have to pull a song up here in a minute because you're not gonna fucking believe this. So Sam Cooke is Bobby Womack's mentor. He's in love with him. Sam Cooke dies, right? Bobby Womack goes to his funeral, wearing his clothes, driving his car, holding his wife's hand. He then gets married to Sam Cooke's wife. He then leaves Sam Cooke's wife for Sam Cooke's daughter, has kids with her.
Oh, my.
And then you can Google the song, I Think You Really Trust Me Too Much. He wrote a song a decade or like 15 years after all this about how like you got to hear the lyrics. It's like, I think he really trusts me. He goes, we got the same taste, you know. You got to literally Google the lyrics. It's insane because the comments on YouTube are, wow, the first American diss song. Like, so, but yeah, it's like the biggest scandal where it's like, I'm gonna wear your clothes to your funeral.
Yeah.
I'm fucking your wife already. Like,
Yeah.
And I'm driving your car.
Oh,
and I'm
my.
I'm gonna go ahead and marry your daughter after this.
Yeah.
Bobby, come on.
Did it.
He sang one of my favorite songs. Though, if you guys ever get divorced, let's hope it never happens since you're both fresh.
I'm not planning on it.
Okay, just remember the song Bobby Womack. If you think you're lonely now, holy shit, it will make you feel.
I wish
better.
he didn't trust me so much.
You ready? Go for it. Fuck, Jacob, you pulled up the video.
I love these old videos with the little thing at the beginning. Oh, sexy.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't expecting the vibe.
You don't, but it's 80. Think 85.
Oh, 85.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
there you go. We didn't have a time frame.
So when Sam Cooke died, 70, 71, 72-ish? Yeah, then this is like 13 years later.
Oh, my God.
Here you go. Right away, he's just going to fucking blow your face off.
He's got to let that beat sink in, though.
You went with the long intro.
Are those chimes? Oh, no.
Yep. Here it comes.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I think you really trust me.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh, it just gets better and
This
better.
sounds like it was made up for an SNL skit. Like, this doesn't sound real.
It's
Yeah.
so, like, scandalous.
It sounds like Leon Phelps, the ladies' man, making a song.
Yeah.
And he thinks it's in tribute, but it's like, this is very disrespectful.
Yeah, I wonder what he thought about that. Where
Yeah.
he's like, "Hey, I got hey, studio, I got one for you."
he was like,
And they're all like, "This
it's
is
been long
They're all
enough.
back there in the booth like, oh, my God.
yeah. Like,
Oh, my God.
Oh, no.
This is 85, too. You can't be like, can we Google any of this? No,
So, hey,
it's
hey,
85.
we have to
no.
take him at his
So
word.
you just got to take him at his word that Sam Cooke's daughter's not pregnant with his kid right
Oh,
now.
It's
Yeah.
it's like drill rap. It's like, brother, you can't be saying all this right now.
What's drill rap?
That's where the kids, they do the real aggressive rap music where they talk about people they're going to kill and then they go kill them.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Mhm.
I saw a documentary on that. I was down the rabbit hole one night on Facebook or something, like Vice did something on that, where there's like 40 different drill rappers where, like, literally they take life so carelessly that the guy shows up in an alley. His last words were, "Oh shit, you got me." You know, like all of them are like, "That's like, oh, it's my turn." You know, like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's really, really crazy.
Which
Fast
is like
and
we
loose.
needed that with comedy, like drill comedy, like motherfucker. They're like, why is this guy talking about some guy we don't know for 2 hours on stage?
Like,
oh, why'd he kill him the next day?
Yeah, like open micers having shootouts in front of bars and
Oh,
grills.
dude, we should have. I had a guy in Fairview Heights talking about my daughter holding his penis. Fairview Heights, Illinois. Oh, dude, I wanted to
Why?
beat that guy. I want to
See.
And
I got on stage and the
they do
host
that
looked at me.
specifically to fuck with you.
Yeah, and the host looks right at me and he's like, "Gary, are you okay?" As he's handing me the microphone when I follow, I'm like, and then I just went off on the guy. There was nothing funny about it. And you know what? Now that guy is a cop, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, cops are good.
Yeah. Anyway.
So
No, actually, that being said about comedians that are capable of killing people, and is something
They
we can
usually
talk
only
about.
kill themselves, though.
They usually over
Yeah,
time, right?
99%.
Yeah, whether it's intentional or through addiction. But
Good point.
But do you think that Tom Segura is a serial killer?
Tom Segura? Is that real or?
Has no one talked about
I
this?
thought it was Garth Brooks that was the serial killer.
No. Well, that's the funny thing is, yes, he was talking about
twist.
about Garth Brooks being, but he moved to Texas and into an area not far from where there's like 15 now bodies pulled out of the same lake.
What?
But they started finding those bodies before he moved there.
That's true, but
Okay.
touring, not touring, whatever, it's never really been that consistent.
Do you think Tom's putting the bodies in the lake?
Well, somebody who survived this situation then physically described a man that looked just like Tom Segura.
But that could also be Gary.
That's all of us.
And
Come on.
right. But then Tom Segura was
It's
in
not
town.
me.
Was in town the week that this occurred. Now, what if he's putting the spotlight on somebody else?
He
So,
started.
yeah, like a.
He
yeah.
thinks Gar. I think they started the Gar thing in L.A., but I see what you're saying.
Well, no, and yeah, but it's still there's a lake. I don't remember. It's called Lady Lake or
Lady Bird Lake.
Lady Bird Lake.
Okay.
Thank you. So you know what I was talking about.
Yeah.
And the bodies are coming.
So
out
then
of
I saw a thing, and it was mostly like TikToks and what the hell can you believe out of this social
Yeah,
media bullshit. But
yeah.
it was several videos of people being like, "Well, here's some lines that cross that you can't really ignore." And what if Tom Segura is the Lady Bird Lake killer? That'd be interesting.
Wow.
Well, I have a restraining order. Well, I did against this girl. I shouldn't say her name. Beautiful girl, big boobs. What?
Well, no, good call on the not.
Oh,
saying
I
the
thought
name.
you said her name. It was close to that.
No.
Oh, that was close to no call.
No. I
right, good call.
Good
Okay.
call.
Okay.
Nosferatu.
Yeah,
That's the
but yeah, where she literally was on my back porch and my neighbor saw it. One boob out, 5 a.m, and she goes, "You look like Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura together, and I can't take it." And I was like, "Oh my god!" But here's the thing: I was
That's
totally
that audience, I think.
was totally with her, but there was another woman in my house, so I couldn't really deal with it. so that
It's
was
like,
when I had to
man,
get
you're
an
gonna have to
issue.
come back later.
Yeah, that kind of way. And then it was just like, hey, and the girl with me is like, you need to report this. And I was like, maybe you're right. I do, you know.
We had that when I lived in
A ring camera or
when I lived in
something.
Dogtown.
Evidence.
There was a lady who would go try to get junk out of dumpsters and stuff, and she would be wearing like her jammies, which were sometimes more revealing than others.
See, it's not fair because Tamika makes fun
for
of
the
this lady
record-
and calls her homeless. So
Anytime I go through a dumpster, I do wear my jammies, my Jimmy Jams.
Yeah, I thought it was strange, but then people were like mad about me mentioning it in the neighborhood group because people were like making fun of her.
Well,
And I
you're
don't-
not going to arrest somebody for going
Do you
through the
remember
dumpster in
that
the middle of the night
guy
if your dick's out. You're not going to do
that
it.
we took in a blizzard to
It's
get
not true, you
crack.
might.
The guy we took in a blizzard to get
Oh,
crack.
yeah. This
Joe?
guy offered us to shovel his driveway or something, and he said, "Hey, can you guys give me a ride
to get his keys.
to get my keys?" And we drove him over into the Grove, and then he went into this house. Did we leave him there?
No, that's the thing. We brought him back.
Did we bring him back? Anyway, so
He
we're
just
pretty-
needed a ride to get some crack.
That's all we did was we just gave him a ride to get drugs, and we didn't know it. Yeah.
I did that
But
doing rideshare.
So the
Yeah.
thing we brought up earlier with how we give people a chance and we have to get to know them before we hate them thing.
Yeah, you guys are gonna
we
both get
do
killed for that,
too
too.
much.
You're gonna
Didn't
get
you pick
killed
up,
for that.
Didn't you give a prostitute a ride once?
I spent a good morning with a prostitute.
who hasn't?
Yeah.
Who hasn't?
Well, it was just like she needed a ride, but then she gave him the wrong location, so it was more like a 3-stop delivery system for a person, and it was just kind of like I don't know. It just is what it is. I bought a lady some milk and bread the other day because she didn't ask me for anything else. She just said, "Hey, I need to pay for this milk and bread," and I was like, "Okay, just don't throw anything else on the
I
register."
know that's like this week. I have done.
just did it.
I've done 14,000 ride shares. I don't want to say companies' names, but yeah. And even this week, I had a lady where she's like, we get to the stop at Quick Trip, and she's like, "Can I borrow $5?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, I don't bring my debit card." She goes in. 4 minutes later, here she comes, followed by a Quick Trip employee, followed by the security, and she's going to get in my car with a bag. She just took it all and didn't pay. So she went to the counter, had them ring it up, put it in a bag, and then she just walked off
That's perfect.
and just tried to get in my car. And but that's not even
Well,
close
some
to
people just won't follow you.
Yeah, that's
We
not
talked about this on the show
The
about using
Walgreens.
Ubers to commit crimes.
Well, there's the
Does this
Walgreens at
happen?
Hampton and Gravois,
I-
where people will walk in there and take stuff and just walk
We've
out.
talked about that too.
That's
and they'll
at-
just get-
which place?
The Walgreens at Hampton and Gravois.
Yeah, okay.
And they'll just walk in there and they'll grab stuff and then they'll just walk out. And the
Yeah.
people behind the register are so tired of it, they'll cuss
Yeah,
them
what are
out
they
as
gonna
they're
do?
leaving.
Yeah, what are they gonna
But
do?
it's just kind of like, what are you going to do? I'm not going to
Yeah.
chase after you.
No, I don't make enough.
This is covered.
Can
Theft
you
is
get
covered by
yourself a
certain
beer and
brands.
get me a Diet Coke?
Sure.
And
You good?
I'm real good.
Good.
you were saying that the
Ride shares to commit crimes.
Yeah,
I got a messed up
Genius.
one from a
Hold
couple
on.
years ago from these kids, and it's a banger. Should I hold off?
no, he can hear you.
Okay. So I had 3 kids that were like 17, 18. I had Ubered the one before. I knew his name. They're in my car, and we get to their stop, and they run in, all 3 of them. They run out, and they come back. And when we get to the spot, the kids go, "Keep rolling." And I go, "Huh?" And by the time I turned, they all jumped out of my car with these long-ass guns, ran behind a building. And I was like, oh, my God. And I was spooked until I got home. And I was like, should I tell Tamika about this? And then I told Tamika, and she goes, Gary, she said, inwards can't shoot. You're fine. And I'm like, what? And then she started, she's like that. And then she started sending me 25 different Instagram videos of people shooting 100 times and
Not
somebody
hitting
spraining an
anything.
ankle.
I get that a lot on
Yeah.
Twitter.
Yeah.
And it's not just African Americans, but a lot of just like those CCTVs outside of gas stations or whatever, and it's just kind of like, brah, 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 brah. And there's like 10 people standing there like, what just happened? No one got hit except for
be
one
blanks.
guy. And it's just kind of like, oh my goodness, bullets are expensive.
The first one she sent was like a guy, 45 bullets, and the girl like sprained her ankle.
Yeah.
But no, I
in
do.
those situations, I'm sorry. Like I said, bullets are expensive. I'm going to be certain
no
it's going to
shit.
get done.
Yeah. Especially if you're going to go to jail for it either way, possibly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because your
not in
stuff's
St.
on
Louis,
the camera.
though.
Well,
Because
well,
I
that's
murdered
fair.
2 people 3 years ago, and I got 18 months probation.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's why you gotta
it
keep
was
it
a
in the
win.
city.
It was a win. Yeah.
You got to keep it in the city.
Right, yeah. I won't even ride share out of the city because
Yeah.
I got pulled over in Rock Hill one time, and I wouldn't even pay that ticket. I was
For
like,
the record,
out of principle.
you're not from here, but everyone's
Yes.
been pulled over in Rock Hill.
I know. Okay, so I get pulled over anywhere I go outside the city because I'm out there at 1 a.m. with kids in my car, and they're like, hungry. Here comes a DUI, and then he pulls up and sees my Uber app, and he's like, you crossed the line. Here's a $75 ticket. So the guy in Rock Hill did that, and I'll never forget that because he walks up and he hands me a ticket, and I'm like, I got 3 drunk 22-year-olds that I picked up downtown, and I'm like, wow, this guy's on 40 pulling me over. How bad do we need revenue in a town that the average income is $127,000
don't,
anyway?
but they're bored and they have quotas.
They're bored, and he's on the interstate, and he pulls me over, and I end it with, hey, can I ask you a question? Who's serving the public right now, me or you? And he goes, get the fuck out of here. And then I wouldn't pay that ticket forever because I know what the income is, the average income, and I realized that if they pull me and pick me up and take me to Rock Hill, I will stay in that jail cell forever. That place is going to be way nicer than my 2-bedroom apartment on the State Street.
It's a
in
nice
South City.
place.
Yeah, I'm not leaving. Send my mail. This is where I live now.
Yeah. I'll live
I'm
in
not
this.
leaving, yeah.
I'm not paying that ticket.
Yeah.
That's so incredible. So do you have a social media presence that I can forward people
Instagram,
to? We'll have a lower
Facebook.
third even.
Sweet. Gary Reinhardt on Instagram and Facebook.
Spell that for the audience.
GaryReinhardt.
DT.
DT. Yeah, it's super German.
Yeah, no, Reinhardt with a DT.
Yeah, it's very,
That's why I wanted to check.
You got to be careful with the Rhines. You never know how it's going to end after the Rhine. Like Judge Reinholtz, is that the actor's name?
Yeah.
Reinholdt and Hart.
Got the cheek implants. Didn't he have a DT? I don't know. I don't remember. You got to follow the Rhines. You got to figure out how it ends, or else you're going to have a typo.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
So neither of you guys ever did Uber or Lyft or anything?
I
or?
did one summer.
I've never had a vehicle that was not aged out.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I had a pretty new Ford Escape at one point, and so one summer, because I was teaching, so I was off in the summer, I was Ubering and lifting while my wife was at work.
Oh, didn't you? Because he lived in Dogtown, and they did. Was it Lou Fest?
Yeah.
And so he was close enough to Forest Park that he did a few for around Lou Fest, because why not? It's right there.
All
Yeah.
kinds of Forest
Yeah.
Park stuff.
See, I always like doing St. Patty's Day in Dogtown because it was just murder. And then you go right into watching college basketball at noon, and life is good. You got all the money to make all
That's
your
the thing.
bets.
That everyone is so drunk and ready to move on by noon that day. So
That's that Mardi Gras.
Oh, yeah.
I made almost $1,000 Ubering on Mardi Gras and I only worked like 7
Well,
hours.
that's crazy because
surge
people are
pricing.
drinking all day, much later into the
yeah.
day.
Yeah, I drop them off at 8 in the morning. I pick them back up at 1 in the afternoon. Then they take them wherever they're going, and then they rest up. And then 7 p.m. I'm taking them all back out. So
Do you have a protocol when it comes to people that look like they're going to get physically sick in your vehicle?
I don't even like talking about this. It doesn't have a deal. Okay, so I'm a big fan of COVID with the masks because 2 times somebody did throw up my car. Both were in masks during COVID, and it was perfect. But I did
Catch
have
it like a feed bag.
Yeah, more or less. And I saw a girl that kind of got sick, but see, the worst thing for me, and it was a perfect joke to tell, which I had a couple try to get it on in my back seat after leaving a restaurant on the hill one night.
Well, why not?
And,
the mood
but they're in their
strikes.
50s, and
When
I'm
the
taking
mood
them to
strikes.
Fenton,
Hey,
right?
When you get older, you care less, and you're still horny.
Okay, yeah, but can we stop at the parm heavy cream and noodles? We're really thinking sex right away, not sleep. Okay.
What, you don't get hard on some fettuccine?
No. Well, yeah, but not from Saks, from fettuccine.
Oh, man, lay it on me.
It's a different kind of high.
I am so hungry right now.
Yeah, she's like, I want
See,
more.
okay,
She said, she goes. She's
So-
55 years old. She's had a few Cabernets. She goes, I want more noodle.
Yeah.
And then she looks at her husband. He says, I guess I could do that.
Dude,
And then
that's why I was figuring. Okay, so I hear moaning in my backseat within 3 minutes, and I'm just like,
No.
And half of my brain's like, this is awesome. The other half's like, we can't do this.
No.
And then all of a sudden, I'm like, hey, how was dinner?
yeah.
And
Ask
he
me
goes,
questions.
it was great. And I go, I love Zia's on the Hill. And he goes, me too. And I go, I love their pasta con broccoli. And as I turn and look, and I see, and this guy goes, yeah, I'm more of a tortellini guy myself. And I look, and everybody I've told that to was like, dude, you should have kicked him out right there. And here's the thing. It was 13 degrees outside, and nobody deserves to get finger fucked out in the cold, so I just took him home.
that's fair.
Then he put a 20 on my chest, and I'm like, I love a 20 more than anybody.
A
But
wet 20.
Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, come on, dude. Come on.
It was
come
a
on.
wet 20 on his
Yeah, I know where his
chest.
fingers have been the last 9 minutes.
Oh,
Come
that
on.
wouldn't even bother me. If you're breaking me off a crisp 20, you can put it wherever you want before I get it.
I don't know.
It's
She
going.
wasn't that attractive.
It has nothing to do with me.
I
Not
would've-
that that matters.
I would have said
You break
40
me off a
bucks would be
20.
better.
You break me off a crisp 20 for any reason, I'm good.
It's just my whole thing is that I don't know.
See, you got principle there. I get what you're saying.
I've never puked in a Uber or Lyft or whatever.
Let's not use the word. Oh, it
I've
scares
never
me.
voided my stomach in a purchased transportation situation. But one time I blacked out. I lived in Kansas City for a couple years. One time I blacked out and I came to falling out of a truck that was an Uber. And the guy also, the truck is supposed to have back seats, right? It didn't. It was a regular cab long bed truck. I don't know how he made that work for Lyft or Uber or whatever it was. But I blacked out.
Fake the
I
pictures.
blacked out as the guy was pulling up. And someone's like, that's your ride. And then I blacked out. Gone. And I came to falling out of his cab onto the grass at Nelson Atkins Art Museum. And I laid on my side and I puked in the grass for a good minute. And then I got up, made sure there was nothing on me, and I got back in. And I apologized, and then I made him take me to Poncho's for a drive-through breakfast burrito.
You were the worst.
It was a 24-hour Mexican joint that had a drive-through, and their breakfast burritos were amazing, and it was like 3 a.m.
You would get
Sexy.
so drunk in
That is
Kansas
sexy.
City, and you would
Yeah.
and I
drive those Uber drivers crazy.
And I bought him a burrito as a thank you for understanding.
Dealing with you.
Yeah, and dealing.
Yeah.
I had the opposite experience.
My favorite part was he said, I fucking love
After my friend Paul's bachelor party,
You
they
win.
take the party bus back to his house. I remember being in the street in front of his house. I was blackout drunk, and I had apparently hit somebody's DMT vape. And so I remember getting in an Uber. I think I put my hat out the window and puked out of the car. And then I got back in and I looked at him and he said, listen, I can cancel this ride right now and we don't ever have to talk about this. And I said, okay. And then my wife came to get me.
1 star.
Well, I'm glad though because
I was
gets
banned
1
for a
star.
while
There's a
for
thing.
who knows what reason.
well, I had to come pick you up for a while before you quit drinking, and sometimes you would just find him standing outside of like the duck room or whatever, like with his shirt off. Because
I get hot.
on Del Mar at like 1 a.m. going like that, and you'd be like, get in the fucking car.
Two things that happened there. One, I used to weigh almost 100 pounds more than I do now.
Yes, accomplishment.
And then also, specifically on Del Mar, they started doing the higher octane beers, but in a 16-ounce can.
Oh yeah.
And I'd just give them a credit card and be like, yeah, let me get 2 City Wides and a shot of Deep Eddy grapefruit. Not thinking that these are like 5-6% beers that I'm slamming like it's a PBR or something. And then
You get past the tang, it just goes down.
And then I would do that and then run up and down the steps, get my blood pumping. I was wearing a Fitbit in those days, and my heart rate would elevate because I'd be so
Yeah,
drunk.
I remember you got a big water bottle, and you were the vision of health.
I had the coldest bottle, the big 64 ounce. I
Yeah.
still have that.
One time I was screaming at him because he did this. He got cut off and he came to the bar that I worked at, but I wasn't working at the time. He put like $50 worth of rum and diets on my tab, and then he passed out on the patio, and I had to drive him home, and I had to leave and drive him home. And I was screaming at him, and every time I'd start like really trying to be like heart to heart, like you need to fucking quit doing this to me, he would just start chugging his water loudly, and I felt like he was trying to drown me out. And I was just kind of like, you're gonna put your water down, and you're gonna listen to me. I was so mad. It was a good time. I don't know. I wouldn't
times
trade
are
it.
better
I
now.
wouldn't trade it for anything.
Well, that's how you're here, though.
Yeah.
I got a hard reset coming up here in a couple of minutes. But Gary, Instagram,
Facebook, Instagram.
Oh, it's already 5 to
You're a
4.
meta property.
Sure. Yeah. I'm lazy. I don't even have. I'm getting a TikTok.
We're on everything, and it's hard.
Yeah, I'm getting a TikTok, and I got a girl that's gonna do some stuff because I have.
I can
one.
always help with that stuff as far as video goes.
Yeah. Because like me and Tamika
true.
love making videos.
He'll
and
put
me
stuff in.
and,
He'll put clips in, and
yeah.
he'll put it into an algorithm that'll
Yeah,
make
there'll be
it.
clips of
today
this
happened
also.
for a reason, little buddy.
Yeah.
Today. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. You got to, when JD Vance and all of his cronies come to your door, you got to tell them Christ is king, and then they'll just keep going.
Who?
JD Vance and the
That's your new vice president.
The vice president elect.
Yeah. Did I tell you? I'm.
I got 2 sexy couches. He's gonna want to come in my
Yeah,
house.
he's gonna say, "Hey, I see you have a couch."
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a big announcement. I did Trump. Trump elected me the ambassador of. He told me earlier. I'll tell you. I'll get.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, we'll find out
yeah,
tomorrow,
yeah.
probably.
Well, because
Fuck, I
didn't he
forgot.
get like a second-rate talk show host as like the Secretary of Defense or something
Dude,
like that?
it's insane. It's
Things
gonna,
are wild.
I'm thinking if I email and I reach out and I let him know that I'm down.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm ready. Jesus.
I'm a
pray-
successful Midwestern touring comedian.
I've toured fucking New
I
Memphis
know the
Station,
heartland
Illinois,
of
and
this
I've
country.
and Mobley, Missouri.
Do you know how many red states I've toured, sir?
Yeah, no shit. And then he's gonna look at my Facebook and see where I compared him to Jeffrey Dahmer once, because I was like,
he's-
Jeffrey killed less people. He actually served our country, and he paid his taxes. Thank you, Jeffrey.
And he worked
Thank
at a
you,
chocolate
Jeffrey.
factory.
R.I.P.
Trump just
How about
wore a
that?
vest and worked at McDonald's for a couple hours.
Hey, a couple hours.
Where
fucking
would
20
you?
minutes.
Where would you most want to be the ambassador to? If you had to pick a country to be an ambassador to on behalf of the Trump administration,
As a guy who likes to play Madden and
know.
just stay home all the time, Canada.
Canada.
Yeah, let's make it easy.
yeah, Canada's
Canadian.
nice.
Yeah, we don't.
Ambassador.
Yeah, we don't have any issues. Ooh, no, I take that back. That poutine or whatever is fucking garbage.
Poutine.
I want to go somewhere where like
don't
the
like
foods.
poutine?
No, stop.
What's wrong with poutine?
Everything? The gravy? No, I put
What's
gravy
wrong
on
with-
biscuits and mashed potatoes.
I think
not-
poutine's brown gravy, where biscuits and gravy is the white sausage gravy.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, my kind of gravy doesn't go on French fries with cheese. That's gross.
Cheese curds, sir.
Yeah, cheese curds are amazing on their own. Why do we need to fatten up, fatties?
I don't know. It's just- You're talking to the wrong crowd.
I know. I'm gonna go eat a bacon chicken range pizza here in a minute.
I had a
I'm
chicken
sorry.
Big Mac today.
I'm gonna hit.
Can we talk about it?
Oh
you
yeah,
not-
the
have
whole
you not
last
had one?
episode was dedicated
No,
to
and
the
I'm
chicken
not.
Big Mac.
I'm not
It
gonna do
literally-
it.
The only I thought it was gonna be like 2 McChicken
It's
patties.
better
That's
than
all
a,
it is.
It's better than a Big Mac.
Hold on.
Oh,
Here's
fuck
the
off.
thing.
It's better.
It's better than the most iconic sandwich in our whole
I
history.
immediately
yes.
identified the quality of chicken that's in it. It's
Minced?
just it's a big chicken nugget. It's 2 big.
that's what a
chicken
McChicken
nuggets.
is.
No, they're not the same.
I'll give you that. It's not
the
the same.
inside of a chicken nugget's got some pinkish hue to it. You know,
McChicken and a chicken nugget are two different texture
Exactly.
things. Yeah.
So, but
You're
the,
saying
but
what's on the chicken
Big
Big Mac isn't the McChicken?
No, it's 2 big fat chicken nuggets.
Ooh, no, I can get
you're
down
s-
with that.
You're saying the patty on the chicken Big Mac is not a McChicken patty?
No,
Oh, I thought it was just 2 McChickens.
That's what I assumed.
Lucius, you guys did the thing. You guys
Yeah,
did
what
the,
about it?
I didn't let Lucius eat any of it.
That's
Oh,
true.
you didn't try it?
I mean, I was where you were. Was that is the same as the McChicken?
That's what I
Yeah.
thought.
That's what I was thinking.
I thought it was.
Is it from overall aesthetic though? But you didn't try it.
We're gonna-
aesthetic. Just
I bit into
specifically
it,
aesthetic.
and I thought the outer crust and the overall flavor tasted more like a chicken nugget than it did like a McChicken patty.
Did you like
Coming
it?
up next on Jacob
It
V
was
Weekly,
fine.
we're going to find out what is in the chicken Big Mac.
It was fine.
Gary Reinhardt on whatever platforms you could find him.
Yes.
Gary Reinhardt Comedy is how I found you when you showed up.
Yeah.
Baby brother, happy birthday.
Thank you.
I love you so
Hey,
much.
happy birthday.
Thank you.
You have a steak dinner planned with your lovely wife.
That's right.
Where at?
Oh, at home.
At home. Oh, she's a wonderful cook.
She's had
Right
that
on.
motherfucker in the sous vide since before I left this morning.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's I have one of those. I need to use it
She's
more.
gonna sear it. She's got
Keenan's
plans
eating red
on
meat again
potatoes
because she's
and
worried
stuff.
about her iron. So maybe I'll steak it up this week.
Yeah, or you could get some liver and gizzards from
Lee's.
Lee's.
Yeah, the only place to get those.
the only fast food joint where you can get livers and gizzards.
Gary, thank you so much for doing this. We'll
Thanks
do
for
this
having
again
me.
for your gigs in January, and I'll drop a link in the thing. And anything we could do to support production or promotion
dude.
in that
I'll
way,
get with you.
I'd love to. Now that you have my number and whatnot. Gary's also a frequent visitor of the free trivia game we do every Thursday.
Oh, are you?
Bluewood.
At the Bluewood
Yeah,
Brewery.
that's
You
how
been at
know
Bluewood?
me. Come
Yeah,
on,
he
asshole.
comes all the time.
Come on.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'm
Sat in
sorry.
the front row last week.
Yeah, no.
I didn't know his last name until last
We're
night.
the ones who get high together. You don't even get high with us, and you don't even know who I
I
am.
can't
Come on.
function.
He doesn't carry weed with
So
him.
you should know who I look like. You know who I am. Now I'm mad.
No, he
Now I'm
drinks
What I
upset.
do is I have
See.
about 6 or 7 battle stacks, and I try to drive home.
So just you don't have kids yet. You're fine.
Yeah, we're okay at the moment.
Hey, you know what? Hey, once you get a kid on the way, you're gonna gear towards Diet Coke.
Yeah, it's
That's
good.
right. No, I'm fine with
It's the
Diet
way.
Coke. It's just
It's the way.
I'm enjoying
No,
what
it's
time
not.
I have left before I devote
The
my
most
life to
successful
another
men in the
life,
world
I
drink Diet
suppose.
Coke.
To
Jacob V
Jesus.
Weekly 110. We'll
Yeah,
be right
Jesus.
back.
It's Jesus.
You could cut that loose.
Thanks, fam.
That was awesome. Thanks, guys.
Oh, Gary, please.
Yeah, dude.